Okay, so here is your video for Unit 3, Module 4, and here we're really starting to examine poetic style. We're going to be looking at figures of speech, literary devices, structure and form, and really how poetry is assembled in that sense. So you've gone through a number of things already. So you've looked at, open reading of a poem, whether you think it's good, an example of good writing. You've looked at certain poetic forms, okay, like certain structures and styles as well. And now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this. Now you're going to have a number of days to look at this because this module is fairly large, okay? So let's get to it. So Module 4 consists of one formative task is where you're to write 2 poems for me, 2 original poems, and those are to be submitted to the Dropbox and to the discussion forum for your peers to look at and offer feedback on. So in each of the pieces here, there's some key ideas and things that you need to review. So under structure and form, and this is why I'm giving you a number of days for this task here, is please read through very carefully, again, looking at the offering an analysis or if you're offering an analysis, or if you're starting to write your own poetry, it's essential that you understand structure. Okay, how things are assembled together. So it says in analyzing or writing poetry, it's important to look at the overall structure, style or structure of the poem. In short, structure involves the overall manner in which the poem is constructed. So it's how it's assembled. So I give you a bit on in terms of stanzas. I give you some information and some stuff on, again, looking at lines, okay, and jam it, and then getting into form as well. This is a very important piece here. This needs your attention, and you should be looking at, again, reviewing this if you know it, if you've been exposed to it before, or learning some of these key things, because in the summative task you're going to have to write some poetry, right? And these are the type of things that I'm looking for. And the formative task that's attached to this module, you're going to have to write 2 original poems that really highlight your understanding of these things. Okay, so that's the structure piece. Same thing with figurative language as well. Figurative language should be relatively familiar, dealing with like the idea of imagery, literal and figurative imagery, figurative language, and examples of that, right, from metaphor, hyperbole, personification, repetition, simile, and so forth and so forth. Okay. You don't need to do this piece here, but this right here is just gives you an understanding again, or this should be more of a review, because these are the things that you do in your traditional English classes more and more, right? Is the examining of figures of speech and figurative language with respect to development of theme or so forth, right? So you should be relatively familiar with figurative language. Getting into diction and tone, this is an important part for the poet, right? When we're looking at diction and tone, diction is that word choice, and tone is the attitude of the writer toward the subject that they have, or the subject matter of the piece. Okay, the mood is the opposite piece of that. It's the attitude of the reader towards the subject matter as well. Okay, so like there's the difference between tone and mood there. When you're getting into diction and tone, again, just a quick examination of these pieces, and looking at exactly the manner in which they offer and highlight the key ideas in poetry, right? And everything's going back to that sense of theme. So these are important as well, okay, for you to be working through. Getting into symbolism, rhyme, meter, and scansion. That one's going to be a bit challenging because, again, getting into the meters of poetry, looking at, you're probably fairly familiar looking at iambic pentameter, especially in Shakespeare's use of iambic pentameter. But this is a good review, especially if you're looking at writing poetry with a specific rhyme or meter form to it. So that's very, very, very important to review there as well. Okay, so there excuse me, there are the web pages or the links there that you need to work through carefully, please. You are to write 2 original poems, okay? So we've looked at a whole host of different forms, so just pick 2 of those and write 2 original poems for me in that form, keeping in mind these things as well, okay? And then post those to the discussion forum as well as to the Dropbox, okay? And as always, if you do have any questions or concerns, please let me know and I'll get back to you. As I said, you have a number of days to work through this particular module because of the amount of content there. This module is the last one before I release the summative assignment for Unit 3, which is guerrilla poetry, and I hope, I do sincerely hope that you'll have a lot of fun with this one. It's a little bit different in the sense in terms of what I'm asking you to do, but I think you'll enjoy it.